How are you doing today, Dimitri? Oh no, I hope I'm still not having more technical issues. Dimitri? Oh,
Hello. I just got connected. Thank you, Jake. Pretty well. How about you?
Yeah, can't complain. Another day in paradise. Excellent stuff. All right. Well, yeah, thank you for joining us tonight. Obviously, you're a very busy man, so I appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule. Yeah, let's hop straight into the questions then. So, as a kind of introduction, I think most people here know who you are, but for the sake of our wider audience, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and your professional development?
Yes, of course. First of all, I would like to thank everyone that is joining tonight, on Tuesday night. My name is Dimitris Neocleous. I'm the head of ecosystem building in VeChain Foundation. My background, I have graduated from law school in University of Nicosia back in 2017. And yeah, since 2019, January 2019, I joined VeChain, and since then I'm growing as the foundation is growing together. So there is a bit of duality here.
Absolutely. And so when did you first kind of discover blockchain then? And what was it about blockchain that, caught your attention?
Well, everything great in life, I think, starts from a paradox. And why I'm saying this is back in 2013, before I say the story, it's important to say that my mom used to be a banker, and my dad is a lawyer. And why I'm saying this because back in 2013, there was the haircut, the banking haircut of the deposit in Cyprus, where my grandparents lost all of their deposits. And then because I have been always curious, I have been reading a lot, and I love reading. I ended up reading about the white paper of Satoshi Nakamoto about Bitcoin, and I got touched about who is the sovereign, who has real control of money. And even though I believe in financial institutions, I believe also that the rightful owner, it's the people. It's always back to the people. And even though we have bad actors, even in crypto we have bad actors, we need to believe that technology can solve most of our challenges we're facing in this society. So I got really into the Bitcoin white paper. I invested little money back there, and I invested again in 2014 in Dogecoin. now we can laugh about that. Yeah. And a friend of mine, a good colleague of mine, we studied together also in the university, Tom, told me about Ethereum. We invested in Ethereum in 2017. We did some investment in the crypto space in the ICO bull run. One of those was also VeChain, the VEN token that now it's VET token. And since then, I'm also involved into the VeChain. I started as an investor, and you can see also how I evolve with the ecosystem.
Yeah, totally. So what was it about VeChain that kind of first captured your attention then when you found it?
Well, as I said, first it was about Bitcoin and the monetary statement I was doing. But then VeChain was all about real applications. Really, I mean, it was unbelievable, the real applications that it started with supply chain, of course. It has tangible proof. And the team. I mean, when we invest somewhere, it's always about the people and the product. You can have an amazing product, but if the people are not inspiring you, how you can invest there? Not only money, but also your time, your effort. So we have a team, and Sunny have been there, Jay have been there since forever. So they're leaders, inspiring. So that's why VeChain since the beginning.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I know what you mean. And for me, I think I saw it in our cryptocurrency and it was like, oh, Jim Bray is invested. And obviously I knew he was someone who carries a lot of weight in that world. And that made me kind of deep dive. And then obviously the caliber of the team and the technology, you're like, this is definitely something exciting. Great stuff. Thank you, Dimitri. So in terms of then your professional career, how has that guided you towards the blockchain and digital asset space? I suppose you touched on it, but have you got any other kind of, any other aspects that have lent to your kind of interests?
Well, I can say also the law helped a lot about why blockchain. I mean, when you are studying law, you're becoming cynical about the world, about the society. And if you combine this cynicism and curiosity, you end up in the blockchain space, I think.
Nice. Yeah, I suppose because I guess you have a lot of experience working with contracts anyway, right? In the legal kind of interpretation of things. I mean, automating contracts for one is a kind of a fantastic efficiency gain.
Well, the contract law, I mean, especially the English contract law, gives you a lot of ambiguity. I mean, a good lawyer knows how to deal with that. But the blockchain is definitely, there is this verifiability, the transparency. Lawyers should hate the blockchain, in my opinion, because they cannot be these sneaky lawyers that they know how to make money. But because blockchain is a single source of truth, that's why I say they should hate it, because it makes everything more transparent. But also, if we consider also the GDPR and the challenges that raises the blockchain, it's another topic that I have touched and I have been touching since I joined VeChain. And then, of course, the intellectual property and NFTs is interesting how the two can coexist into the real world.
No, absolutely. So you kind of touched on a few areas there, but what would you say your kind of favorite application areas of blockchain are? What are you particularly interested in?
Anything that bridges the digital world with the real world. I have no preference. That's the reality. I mean, a lot of projects I see here, they know me. I'm a collector of NFTs. I'm a collector of also gamify NFTs, art, PFPs, DeFi. I touch also DeFi. I mean, when you start in the blockchain space in early years, it's inevitable not to touch every project. But my favorites are the ones that are touching and are bridging the real world with the blockchain and the digital. And of course, now with the new white paper, I got intrigued by a presentation that Mr. Renato Grotola gave in Messari event about sustainability challenge and digital ecosystems. I literally didn't understand the word, and I did understand some word, but it was very challenging for me. It was very challenging, but also inspiring me to go and study more about it. Maybe I will try to share the link of Renato speaking in the Messari event on the tweet. Let's see if I can do that, because I have some notes here. So let's see if it works. Sorry about that, guys.
Just some live interaction. I mean, for anyone who missed it, it was a fantastic session, just looking at the concept of digital ecosystems, which is something obviously VeChain's been talking about now, but these incentivized circular ecosystems that reward engagement and participation and many different tiers of stakeholder. It's a very exciting future avenue of development.
Exactly. And it's all about creating, what Renato was talking about was finding a purpose and create an ecosystem that serves a purpose. And the technology is there, the platforms is there to facilitate this communication and transfer of value between the different actors, stakeholders for this common goal. I just share it, guys. And I'm not sure, Jake, if it's working out.
You can pin it somehow. I'm showing my luditic tendencies now because I don't actually know how to pin tweets, but you can do that. Anyway, check out Dimitri's tweet. You can lower this, lower this and go and have a look in the background. Yep, Jordan, I feel you. I'm laughing at myself here. Okay, well, while they go and check your tweet, Dimitri, maybe I'll ask you the next question if you're ready to move on. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Cool.
I'm ready.
So what would you define as your key achievements and contributions towards the VeChain Foundation in the past? Obviously, you've been there for a while now. I'm sure you're stacking them up.
Well, the first achievement I think was in 2020, February 2020. It was during the start of the pandemic in Europe, and we had recently launched VeChain toolchain. We had our first, let's say, proof of concept with Sarah Richensberger, sustainable designer. She's doing vegan clothing designs. And it was very challenging there for me because I had to travel to Paris. It was during the pandemic, and I had to test toolchain on the mainnet with a client. And it was literally a big challenge for us because we needed also to integrate the NFC chip there. The communication was limited with the team. So I think that was the first one during the pandemic, to manage to deliver a proof of concept with a real client.
Nice.
And then another achievement, I think it was, we managed to bring special category of data, and I'm referring to medical records, on public blockchain. And I'm talking about the use case about owning your medical records and with who to share for the two hospitals in Cyprus, Mediterranean Hospital of Cyprus and Areteo Hospital in Cyprus. And we managed to deliver it again during COVID. We even changed the scope of the project for delivering it. And that shows the passion that we have to deliver, and also the agile development. I don't think it was my achievement per se, but it was an achievement built with the team. The team that they developed it, the team that the VeChain team that was supporting us. So yeah.
Yeah, amazing. I think you've been very proactive in the Cyprus area as well. I remember your Brew 22 session looked like a lot of interesting discussions taking place.
Well, if you want to win the Champions League, you need to first win the National League in Spain, or at least the top four.
Absolutely. I mean, I think VeChain's doing a great model of building in these more agile kind of legal frameworks and working up, to the slower moving ones. I think it's the more sensible approach to adoption. Cool. Okay, well, looking forward then. So obviously you've overseen a lot of development and you work with a team in that field. How are you kind of ensuring in the future VeChain stays relevant and becomes even more of a major player in the blockchain industry?
Well, we need to listen to the community. And when I tell about community, I don't mean only the crypto community. I say also about the community that is unfamiliar with the crypto space. It's unfamiliar with what we mean blockchain and adding real value with the use of blockchain technology. One is that. Why is that? Because that gives us different problems, like the sustainability challenge or other challenges that we're facing in the world. So having that said, it's easy to identify how the technology can solve the solution, how the building digital ecosystem can solve the solution. So first, it's coming from the community. As I said, not only the crypto community, but also the real community. Then we need to also be more proactive than reactive. I read a book back in the days. It was The End of Alchemy. It's a very interesting book because it's talking about how the financial system will collapse and why it's collapsing. But there are some nice highlights there in the book, and one of it is, in general, it can apply also to society and also in VeChain. We need to be proactive than reactive. We need to identify what is next than trying to solve what is also the problem. So having that attitude, and having this person in the steering committee trying to identify what is next, brings also the potential to be pioneer in any solution in any ecosystem. So these two, first is to be reactive and trying to understand how existing problems from the community can be solved with the technology, and the other one is to be reactive, proactive, and trying to identify what's next. What is the next, let's say, product that can be considered a blue chip or unicorn?
Love it. Great answer. Okay, well, you touched on the steering committee. What would you say your core focus for the steering committee is in the coming years?
I'm going to say this. Okay, I'm going to try to share it again. And it's important, this tweet I'm going to share. So let's see if I can share it. Because it talks about community again.
I'll share.
And community, let's see if it works now.
So,
sorry about that, guys.
two old guys trying to work Twitter.
Okay, I'm pinning it as well. Yeah.
Great.
So it talks. This tweet I shared. It talks about community again. There is community that join crypto space, join VeChain for the aim to make money, and it's very common, and there is nothing to judge about that. But what is greater than creating ecosystem DAOs that are trying to solve problems or try to make better the society, at the same time creating together value and make money? So from degene to regene. If I can say this, I just tweet about it. I don't know if you can see that, guys.
I can see it. I like it.
So this is the pipeline, how most of us enter the crypto space, how most of us got burned the first time with the crypto. But if we change the attitude and if we try to understand and create this and educate ourselves and share opinions, then we can create something very strong, a very strong community. So my first focus is going to be community. As I said, it's not only the crypto community. The crypto community reflects to 4 to 7%, and the statistics there are contradictory. So I don't have a clear view or number there that is verified. But so that means also there is a 90% that the moment that we're going to talk about crypto, they're going to think only about Bitcoin and, I don't know, FTX drama. So we need to find the value proposition, the community proposition to attract community, to make them crypto community. It's like the zombie games. We are the zombies, and we're trying to make them enter our world. So we need to focus first on that education of the community, share the value proposition of VeChain and sustainability, and also provide tools. Because the moment you attract community, you need also to be able to facilitate the playground. And I believe in open source. That's the reality. And I'm grateful that I'm working with teams, and especially with Antonio Sanatore and his team in Dublin, that the guys are doing amazing work. And Jake, you have seen it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to see stuff happening. Thursday is an amazing day to join guys also the spaces. So yeah, community, the tools, or the openness of the tools, so people can build, and also documented tutorials is important for that. And then I'm going to focus. My next focus will be more on the trivergence, and trivergence means the combination of blockchain, AI, and IoT. And okay, I'm gonna throw now an Easter egg. If I get elected, guys, I'm going to propose something that I have identified through my experience in Cyprus with the healthcare sector. I'm going to focus on zero knowledge rollups and soul-bound tokens. And the reason why I'm going to do that is privacy. Even though we know the blockchain trilemma and security the security, scalability, and decentralization, it doesn't touch at all the term privacy. And if we believe in Web3 and Web3 can create value and that value can be shared, it means that we need to create the network that will allow us to store sensitive data on the blockchain. Why I'm saying this is because in Cyprus, even though the solution it's unique, it's amazing, it's very linear the way, okay, I can view my record, I can know, I know who has entered and authorized my record, I can share my record, there is a blockchain to verify that, but I cannot really monetize on it. And even though there are mechanisms like anonymization, asynchronous encryption, dissemination, salt and peppering, we need to store data because otherwise this is going to be unscalable. Because right now the solution, what it does, it pulls through an API the information from the hospital information system, and on the fly creates all this anonymized package that stores some data that is not constituting personal data on the blockchain. So if the hospital goes down, the data will go down. So the combination of the zero knowledge rollup and the soulbound token for sensitive data, not only about medical records. The medical record is a good playground for us because we have it there that is running. So I'm going to focus on also that one.
Very cool. Yeah, very interesting. I mean, there's obviously been a bit of interest in said case snarks and that anonymization of data. I mean, fascinating field of development. Okay, thank you, Dimitri.
Yeah, and Jake, just to add there, just to give you a scenario, guys, because maybe it's too theoretical. In the scenario of health record, imagine yourself being able to monetize because they are more healthy than the previous year. Why it's important? Because in the UN Sustainability Roadmap, Sustainability Goal 3 is about well-being and good health and well-being for all. So it's important also for sustainability aspects. And be able to be rewarded for being healthy, because if you are more healthy, that means the society is more healthy. That means that the government needs to spend less money about the budget in the healthcare industry, and I'm talking about this money spent into the hospitals and to their budget.
It's an interesting concept. I never really thought about that, like leveraging data to kind of reward and incentivize people to stay healthy. I mean, that's quite a powerful mechanism of itself. You talk a lot about using it for sustainability purposes, recycling perhaps, or taking a car to, a bike to work, sorry. But yeah, I never considered it for health. That's very fascinating.
Well, that's the reality. When we are talking about sustainability, we're thinking more about the 3 R's, recycle, reuse, and the other
Reduce.
one, sorry about that. Reuse, sorry, yeah. So people think only about the climate change, about how making the world more about green economy. Well, as I said, the UN Sustainability Roadmap goal number 3 is about good health and well-being. And this emphasizing, saying that if people are healthy, the society is healthy, the economy is healthy. So yeah, and imagine this rewarding economy. Imagine being able to compete with others of being healthy. It should be the paramount goal of everyone to be healthy. Unfortunately, we take life for granted. So we need other mechanisms to incentivize and reward the habitants of this world, us.
Yeah. That's very cool. Very fascinating point. Thank you, Dimitri. Okay, well, let's look ahead then into this future you're painting for us. Where do you want to see VeChain's technologies in 3 to 5 years? And how do you think your role will help the steering committee drive that?
Well, I'm going to start from something that everyone wants to hear in this space. I want to see VeChain in top 10 in the market cap. And our technologies should focus, as I said, more to the real world and bridging to the real world, because there is also a community and generation that is growing up fully digital. So we need to identify the right balance with our technology we're going to deliver and respect these generations and the gap generation between amongst them. And why I'm saying this is, I was talking on a conference and there were some 20 years old kids telling me, oh, we have this NFT and it has these perks, it's amazing. I told them, guys, are you familiar with the ICO era? They told me, no, what is that? So I realized that there is also a gap coming up. So we need to respect both, not both, all generations, and our technologies reflecting this and trying to bridge the gaps between these generations. And of course, bridging the gap between the digital and the physical. I have stuff that I wanted to share today, and I was told not to, because about what we are going to deliver. And I think Antonio is going to, in the summit, discuss about what we're going to deliver as foundation and the technical roadmap that covers that pretty well. My role, even as a head of ecosystem build, is to connect the communities, crypto and non-crypto, to the developers of the VeChain Foundation, to the projects, and build together something that is sustainable, something that makes sense, and something that creates real value.
Fantastic. That's a good answer. Okay, so let's move on then to more aspirational questions. So can you give us any more examples of how your role has kind of helped VeChain's adoption? You've mentioned a few, but could you give us some more examples? We're all interested, I'm sure.
Well, it all goes back to a person. And when we're discussing about elections, any type of elections, it's not just the good CVs, not all the success stories, also going back to a person. And my work and my footprint in the VeChain ecosystem talks on its own. But I believe that, number one, I'm a curious person. I never stop reading. I never stop challenging myself what we can do better. So curiosity is an attribute I have there. Also the fact that I'm impartial. I'm standing here to you guys because I believe in VeChain since the beginning of it, and I'm still here. I don't have hidden agendas. As I said, I'm impartial. I maintain high integrity. And when I say vote for me, I say vote for someone that cares about the ecosystem, that wants to bring VeChain top 10, the list, in the next 3-5 years. It's, for me, it's more about the person than what, let's say, can bring to the table. And I can you can see my footprint. I have no preference. I can even name the projects if you want, guys. I mean, I have worked with the UCO network, I see there, the XP network, the Spicy network, World of V, VC, Safe Haven, Decent Health, that are building something about decent ethical workforce, Mad V8s, ExoWorlds, Startup Grind, Connor and Luke, VeChain Stats, Alchemy with Authenticate, that they have integrated also our solution with World of V, Stably, VeChain VNS, even new projects like Miden. That Miden is a project I want to discuss about. It's about proof of activity and the reforestation. So what I bring on the table is identify winners. Identify winners that match our sustainability roadmap. I identify people that they have the passion to build, deliver real value. So other than the curiosity, the integrity, the impartial elements I have there as a personality, I know also how to work and match projects with developers, and of course community. Even though I can say that with the community, Jake, you have done unbelievable work. Without you, I wouldn't be able to touch all of the community. So.
You're too kind. Wow. We've got an awesome community. I mean, I'm lucky to be amongst everyone as well. And an awesome team, of course.
Thank you for the support, Jake. Really appreciate that.
Oh, I'm blushing. No, thank you, Dimitri. And I can, give credence to your claims there. You're super helpful, connecting people up and, just, a great person to work with, 100%. I definitely agree with what you just told us. All right. Well, I shall move on. But thank you for the kind words. So in terms of sustainability, obviously we've touched on that. It's quite broad. What do you see as the most immediately promising areas of application within the field of sustainability at large?
I'm going to answer the question, but on the last bit of my answer. And there is a reason why there. Again, in the video of Renato, Renato, I think I'm making you an advertisement there for the thing with Alex, but it was really aspiring because in his presentation he talks about the digital ecosystem and the need to obtain data, actual data. So before we start discussing about applications, we need to identify one of the pain points in general, which is the ability to obtain actual data. Data that makes sense, data that we can rely on it, verify them, and then create the different elements in the ecosystem. So I think we need first to create some APIs, some principles, some oracles that are able to obtain this data, verify it, but before they verify it, it's important to this data to be pulled in a certain way, following certain taxonomy and also principles. And again, to move away from theory. In a hospital, I'm taking the use of the hospital because I was heavily involved in the building of the solution. It is very difficult for the doctors to follow the same pattern of the doctor notes. So every doctor can write different doctor notes. So how this data can then be used in an ecosystem if there is no taxonomy, if there is no principles how to enter the data. So the first thing that we need to deliver is this network, these principles, these oracles of obtaining the data. And then we can build the applications that we are aiming for. So the applications that I'm really bullish about is the applications of circular economy. We have a project with us tonight that is the UCO network, that they're taking the cooking oil and transform it to biofuel. So the value is not lost because it's reused. And in this, I'm trying not to share a lot because the guys, they're going to have their moment also in the summit to discuss about it. They're using NFTs about it. They're using this transparency in the track and trace in the supply chain. So these applications that they have this circularity in it, for me, are applications that we're going to focus, but also more linear applications. I mean, like the phygitals that we co-invent with World of V back in the days, and now they are offering it as a service. For me, makes sense because I can have and own the physical object. Attached to it, there is the NFC. When I scan it, I can see the digital certificate of ownership, but also the NFT in general. And for me, this is something beautiful. So applications that have this circularity, but also applications that are bridging the world. These applications for me are applications that going to make sense also to the more traditional world, because some applications they don't even need to know that they're using the blockchain.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the key, isn't it? We've used the phrase before, but taking the blockchain out of blockchain, right? You don't want to be bogging people down with terminology and confusing kind of application scenarios. Just do want to plug in, switch off the brain, and just do what they know how to do. I think that's what is most promising for VeChain. Yeah, very excited to see what comes during the summit and after, because I know there's some very groundbreaking tools in that regard, but I'll leave that to other people to talk about.
Yeah, and Jake, in general, what I want to add there is we need to think also about the user experience. The user experience is the paramount. It's one of the most important aspects when we are building a solution. We have seen this also with Reddit and their digital collectibles. Is the experience, even though they had the members there, but they don't say blockchain. They say digital collectibles. They don't say NFTs about it. They are selling the experience. So we need to focus more also on the experience. And that is something also I'm going to pull off in the steering committee. Experience, user experience. Use the internet without the need to know what's running behind the internet. Just a click of a button.
Yeah, no, great stuff. I mean, that's going back to 2018 when fee delegation actually launched, and it was like, for me, it was like, oh my god, that's game changing. You know, you don't have to pay transaction fees as a DApp user. All of a sudden you can imagine your mum signing in on a or any other family member signing in and just doing some blockchain stuff, and all of a sudden they don't have to own crypto. I mean, even that alone is groundbreaking, but so simple. No doubt there's going to be a lot of changes in the years to come, but yeah, amazing stuff. That kind of leads me nicely actually onto my next question, so good segue. So Dimitri, what do you see as the future of digital assets and blockchain in the future economy? What's your kind of vision for it when it's kind of matured and running at scale?
Well, we're talking about Web3 and be able to monetize on the data. Even the example that we gave about being more healthy and being rewarded, or doing something good in the society and getting rewarded, I think the future of digital assets, it goes beyond the fungible and the non-fungible. So the moment we connect, for example, the NFT to a physical item, then we see that the digital assets goes from digital to physical and vice versa. The moment we are rewarding the person for doing something good, even into points like, I don't know, let's call them green points, yeah? So the future is very promising about the digital assets and the blockchain, as long as we build ecosystems, applications with meaning, focusing on real world problem solving, but also creating new ideas. As I said earlier, predicting the new solution that will benefit the economy even better. We need to be also proactive. So if we are talking about Web3, the future of digital assets and blockchain is there, because the blockchain reflects as the trustless machine, and the monetization, reward, the transfer of data, it's only through digital assets. Even I want to say this because I didn't say that, because maybe I wanted you to read between the line, guys, but there is no point to connect the dots. I'm going to connect them for you. The soulbound token goes back to the decentralized identity. So how a decentralized identity, our digital avatar, can be able to exist in a Web3 ecosystem without digital assets and blockchain.
Yeah, wow. Again, I hadn't really thought about that kind of application, but it makes perfect sense.
Since you haven't thought about it, let me give you an example one more time through the tweet, because I love this function of the tweet. And I'm going to share it with you now. I'm adding it there. Okay, let's see if it's going to work. So in this scenario, and I'm going to pin it. Oh my God, Twitter will hate me for spamming tonight. The solution we're seeing here, it's about, again, healthcare. I think I have my expertise there in healthcare with the application, but imagine we do some scannings of ourselves, some uploads of data, of health data, and we create our digital avatar. This digital avatar needs to have some substance, some sovereignty. Only through the digital asset of soul-bound token and the digital identity, decentralized identity, only then this will make sense. Only then the data that it reflects to the real world and it's uploaded on the metaverse through the use of adaptive AI, we can have the metaverse intervention, medical intervention. I can give you even a scenario about this. Yeah, adaptive AI means it goes back and taking new experiences into its algorithm and calculations. So in this scenario, if I eat every day an apple, the adaptive AI will give me different scenarios about my health. If I stop eating fruits, this will reflect to my digital avatar, and since I am able to collect my behavior of eating or not eating fruits, then it's going to have a metaverse intervention about saying me, you need to start eating fruits again. Otherwise, you're going to lose, I don't know, your stamina, or it's going to compromise your expectations for long-lasting life. But in order to have this ecosystem, we need the blockchain to verify the data. We need the soul-bound token to be there and to be applicable to the ecosystem. So it makes sense, even in this futuristic scenario, but it's not that futuristic.
I mean, that's a really cool scenario. I'm suddenly imagining like Skyrim health bar, just seeing it, your stamina and whatnot changing different variables. But no, it is fascinating, tying it all. Digital twins is a concept I was aware of through DNV, obviously doing some work there, creating a digital version of a ship, and then it can track how many waves it gets hit by and the damage to the hull over time. I mean, you can see how these concepts are broadly applicable. And of course, you need that trusted intermediate layer of absolute truth, which is obviously the blockchain. Yeah,
absolutely. And of course, we want also the zero knowledge rollups and then decentralized storage space in order to be able to store the data without relying on API calls of the legacy systems.
Amazing. That's very fascinating stuff. Well, I'm sure you've left everyone in awe there, Dimi. So it seems a good time to invite the community to ask you a question. We've got to our final 15 minutes. So I will put it out to the room. If anyone wants to ask a question, please request to speak. I'll bring you up. But before we do that, I'll just give Dimi a few minutes just to give some final words, final thoughts, however you want to wrap up. Dimitri, over to you.
All right. What I want to say, guys, is first of all, thank you one more time that you joined tonight. For the people that are going to listen it back, please ping me if you have questions about some concepts I shared. And the elections in the steering committee, I want to be original, but I have Lincoln there making the statement. Elections in general and governments, even though it's not governmental elections, this one is about a government should be elected for, by, and of the people. So having me in the steering committee, guys, you're having a guy that has been there since the conception of VeChain and is still there with integrity, responsibility, and impartialness. Not just the concept I share, not even the technology that I want to build. Your vote is more about me, the belief you have in me as a person and then as a technologist. Thank you, guys.
Love it. Great answer. Great round off, Dimi. Well, I don't actually have any questions currently, so we'll just give people another minute or two. But if not, we can wrap this up a little early. Has anyone got a question for Dimitri? Ask whatever you like. Within reason, of course. Okay, well, that tumbleweed blew right through. But Dimitri, no, nothing related to your amazing talents and amazing conversations we've had tonight, no doubt. I think probably everyone's a bit fatigued after a long Tuesday. But I guess we'll wrap it up there in that case. It's fantastic to have you along. Fantastic subjects. Yeah, she kind of blew my mind a little bit there. So yeah, really great to hear from you, Dimitri. And best of luck with your VeChain Greece coming in with a question.
Oh, perfect.
I retract. We're not finished yet.
Okay, VeChain Greece, because they had the courage to come up and ask me a question before the last minute, they have a special gift. We're going to discuss it later on on Telegram, guys.
Hello again. Thank you, Dimitris, for having you here with us. It's a great honor that you come from Cyprus, and we speak the same language as well. Now, just a short question in regards to your move to the Europe as a foundation in a couple of months ago. Have you seen any difference in European aspect? I mean, have you seen the Europeans to be more attracted to blockchain technology and Web3 compared to the people that live in the States or in the Asia? Because as far as I see, in regards to the other, let's say, continents, we're lagging a lot. And I think it was a very good opportunity that you came in Europe in order to robust and move forward this technology in these European countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, VeChain Greece. Very good question, actually. European Union, Europe, I think is moving ahead, even though slow. But I'm going to give you an example, guys. It's a very interesting regulation that was passed last summer. Again, the law comes in my mouth, but yeah, I'm a lawyer after all, so I'm reading also the frameworks. The regulation 858 talks about the digital pilot regime. And it's a very interesting regulation that in a way gives the green light about fractionalization and ownership, and it gives the legality under MiFID II and MiCA, this regulation. I know I'm talking too much legal, but if you guys search about it, it's important legislation that comes in effect in next month, March 2023, that legalizes, in the correct, of course, applications, the fractionalization, ownership, and tokenization. So I'm giving you just an example, VeChain Greece, how Europe is going. And the fact that we moved to Europe was also because our headquarters are in Europe, makes more sense for us. And also European Union has also the goal of going carbon neutral by 2030, 2035, if I'm not mistaken. So it fits our white paper and new roadmap to be here. But also we're seeing the developments that they are doing to welcome these concepts, because tokenization and fractional ownership makes sense even in Web3, guys. It gives democratization in ownership for people that they don't have the capital to invest in projects that previously they couldn't do that. So for me, it's something very revolutionary, and I salute these developments from the European Union.
Okay, thank you very much, and we are wishing you good luck, and you will be sure that all of us will support you a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Awesome, great question, VeChain Greece. Okay, well, yeah, I think that's our first and only question. Just shout out to Jordan Sauer. He taught me how to pin tweets in the meanwhile. So for our future speakers and for